Good morning, everyone. This is Steve Segura for WJOB 1230 AM and 104.7 FM. And we're here with the City of East Chicago's radio show. Happy Friday, everybody. And guess what? Halloween is upon us. So fall, the leaves are turning. And with that, there's still some construction projects happening. And one of our projects is the Indianapolis Blvd Reconstruction. And joining us here today is, to my right, is Keith Selvie, our project manager for the City of East Chicago, and Tricia Nugent, the project manager for the Indianapolis project, correct?
Correct.
And we have Eric Messarch,
yes, sir.
Messarch from DLZ, and he is one of the project engineers. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Keith, and he's going to tell you about everything that's going to be happening on Indianapolis and how it's going to be affecting the businesses and the residents and all the travelers along the way.
Well, thank you, Steve. Good morning. Good morning. As Steve mentioned, my name is Keith Selvie. I'm Director of Project Management here for the City of East Chicago. And what we wanted to do this morning was to dedicate this particular show to talk about the information that we wanted to provide for the Indianapolis roadway projects that are forthcoming. Specifically, the infrastructure project, as well as there are two, possibly three, projects that we'll be following. With the infrastructure project, as I had mentioned in the past, it's a $15 million project to replace the water, the storm, and the sewer beneath Indianapolis Boulevard between the limits of 152nd and Columbus Drive. I'm also joined here again this morning with Eric and Tricia from the DLZ Corporation. They are the company that we picked to provide the design, as well as they will be doing the construction oversight on the project itself. First, I would like to start with Eric. Eric, if you can introduce yourself and give everyone a summary of the infrastructure project that is forthcoming.
Absolutely. And first off, Keith, thank you very much for having us. It's been a pleasure working with the city for the past several years on several different projects. Again, throughout the city. As they mentioned, my name is Eric. I work for DLZ as a project engineer in DLZ's Munster office. And for the past year and a half, we've been, undergoing the design of this project. As you mentioned, $15 million construction cost between Columbus Drive and 152nd Street. Basically, it's, as Keith mentioned, an infrastructure project that involves water utility replacement, as well as combined sanitary and storm sewer replacement beneath Indianapolis Boulevard. As we know, some of the infrastructure beneath the boulevard is, significantly older and aged. And so, the city opted to undergo this project to get some of that replaced and in better shape. The water utility replacement is basically going to piggyback off of a previous project that was funded in part by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers that happened a couple of years ago. And so primarily the replacement of the water utility is going to be an upsize in the water main to increase pressures and fire flows throughout the area between 152nd and Chicago Avenue, as well as underneath the CSX railroad tracks. The sewer utility is another significant undertaking for the project. That's going to be all the way from 152nd to Columbus. And again, you have sanitary sewers, storm sewers that are in need of replacement so that we can improve the system. Involved with this from the residential side, of course, is going to be lateral replacement up to the buildings. For both sanitary sewer and water utility, so water services and sanitary laterals. And so, again, more that goes into that is from the traffic standpoint, making sure that the boulevard is open during construction, as much as possible. I do know that the contractor is, from what I understand, beginning in a couple of weeks.
That's correct.
And so they're going to be starting from the north end of the project and working south, starting at Columbus Drive. So The first 3 blocks do plan to be kind of closed off or have some traffic restrictions starting in a couple of weeks for Columbus Drive, 142nd and 143rd with Indianapolis Boulevard. So just something for travelers to look out for. But again, contractors going to do their best to keep as much open as possible throughout the process. So.
Thank you, Eric. And to add to that, I believe this Monday we're going to start removing the trees along Indianapolis Boulevard that are falling within the limit as well. So you'll probably see some folks out there starting their work. As I had mentioned in the past, the infrastructure is just the first step of upgrades that will occur on Indianapolis Boulevard. There are several projects that are going to follow. Tricia, if you can introduce yourself and tell us what will happen once the infrastructure project is pretty clear or pretty close to completion, and let us know what will be going on subsequently thereafter.
Yeah, so thank you, Keith. My name is Tricia Nugent, and I do work for with Eric for DLZ. And we've worked with the city for in the planning process of this project for quite some time, just to kind of get that scope of work correct for the road widening project. The road widening project is really a federal aid project that the city has gotten funds from the state for, federal money from the state to improve that Indianapolis Boulevard corridor from 152nd to 148th, 144th up to Columbus. So what's going to happen is the infrastructure project will come through, and once they're going to shut down, a block or 2 block section at a time, and then once they're done with their work below ground, then what we're going to do is have the road contractor come in, patch those areas, and then start their widening. As part of the widening project, the scope of work is to improve the curb. Obviously, we're moving that curb out, and the reason for that is because we want to make sure that the residents and businesses along the corridor have sufficient space to park, on-street parking. It just isn't there right now. We know that people park along the street, but there's not sufficient width to do that.
Yes.
So once those areas are widened, in conjunction with that, the sidewalk will also be improved, and then also the pathways. So each side of the road is going to have a sidewalk, and then the other side is going to have a pathway.
You want to touch on what project follows that project?
I do. This is pretty exciting because, once you get that pavement widened and you get that brand new pavement in the parking area, brand new curb, brand new sidewalk, and also all the infrastructure underneath, you'll have new storm sewer inlets. In addition to that, you want to see the pavement across Indianapolis Boulevard be improved, and the state is actually going to follow along right behind the infrastructure and then the pavement widening project with their own pavement rehab project. That'll improve the curb ramps where it's needed to improve those, and then also some of the all of the roadway infrastructure.
And Tricia, just to remind me, what is the limits of the surfacing? Is it
the limits of the surfacing? I believe they're 152nd to Columbus.
Okay.
But I know that there's other projects to the south of there. So It looks like the construction will be 23, 24 for the infrastructure, and then the roadway project will follow very closely behind. So 23 and 24 will be the those 2 projects through the city, and then 25, and then it may go over into 26 for the INDOT project.
Correct. And there's one more project that is in the works as well along Indianapolis to beautify it, and that would be the lighting. Can
Correct.
you kind of touch on that as well?
Yeah, so the lighting is just to kind of bring it up to current standard. The city has a standard that they'd like to see the lighting out there. It lights not only the roadway, but then also the pedestrian pathway. As we said, we're going to improve those along the corridor. So that'll kind of help to obviously shed light on both elements of the project corridor. So to improve safety, and then also, just to kind of beautify the city and bring it up to current standards.
Yes. And I've seen renderings of what it's going to look like once it's completed. It's definitely going to be a huge makeover for the stretch going through East Chicago. I look forward to it. It's going to be a little bit of inconvenience, as we always know when we're doing construction, but it's well needed. As Eric mentioned, our infrastructure beneath is well over 80 years old. We have brick sewers and so forth that definitely need to be replaced. First of all, I want to thank both of you guys for coming on. If there are any additional questions that you have on the specific projects that we've mentioned this morning, please call our engineering department. The telephone number of the engineering department is 219-391-8355. Again, 219-391-8355. I'll turn it back over to you, Steve, for the city announcements.
Oh, before our announcements, I do have a couple questions. Just as I'm looking at it as a resident, or a business. Now, how does this affect the residents along Indianapolis Boulevard and the travelers? What can they expect?
So for the infrastructure project, I'll just go ahead and you can jump in anytime. But
Sure.
the infrastructure project is going to be 2 blocks at a time. It's going to close down the road. It's going to detour traffic on Indianapolis Boulevard off onto Klein. And the reason for that is because there's other projects. Like I said, this has been a long-range plan for the city. So this isn't just a whim. They went out and made sure that, they coordinated with the state and all of the state's projects and stuff like that in the area. So there'll be detours for that. And then as far as the road widening project, they'll work under the same detours where they can. Where they can't, they're just going to go ahead and close that outside lane so that they can make sure that there's one lane in each direction, during construction.
Okay.
But again, those detours will be in place for the infrastructure because they have to really cut into the road. They're deep.
Okay, so thank God it's not a full shutdown of Indianapolis Boulevard. We can't have that because, of course, we've got to get through.
Right.
Exactly.
And so how does this affect the businesses? I believe there's only a small handful in the first corridor. Are they going to put like ramps or something for them to have access to it? Or?
They'll create ADA accessible pathways that are temporary to get to those. We're going to try and get the access to the businesses from alternate approaches, whether it be the alley or the side street or something along those lines. Just so we can make sure that they also, constantly are able to receive, people.
Access, yeah. That's good.
Also, too, when we go through the business corridor, we're going to be doing the majority of that work at night.
So near Chicago.
Thank you, Steve. So I also want to mention, too, in the main business corridor of 147th, we will be performing that infrastructure work at night to try to limit the impact on those businesses. So by the time morning comes, we'll have some type of pathway back to the businesses. So again, we want to impact them to the point where it wouldn't be good. So
That's good. Now, I do have another question. How long will this project take to complete?
Yeah, so the infrastructure project is a 2-year project. The pavement widening project's a 2-year project, and then the resurfacing project is about a 1-season project that may span into 2 seasons. So those are the 3 projects. The lighting will kind of weave its way in between the infrastructure and the roadway project. So we're looking at 23-24 for the infrastructure and the roadway widening, and then 25-26 for the resurfacing project.
Wow, I didn't think it was going to take that long.
It's quite a project,
Yes.
quite an
Not trying to
undertaking.
hurry you up or anything, believe me.
it's a huge project. It really is.
It's an immense project.
Yes,
Wow,
it is.
that's big.
Yeah.
And as you can tell over here where we're at on this side of Indianapolis Boulevard, this has already been done, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
So what we can expect is the beautification, just like on this side. So basically, in a nutshell, all the sewers, all the water, they're digging down, new pavement, new sidewalks, new curbs, new lighting, everything new. So at least you're going to know you're going to have a brand new street along that area for generations to come and lifetimes. That's great.
Absolutely. And I do want to add, with the guidance of Mayor Anthony Copeland, he did choose to do a full replacement. So everything underneath that's going in will be new. We're not leaving anything that's old on Indianapolis Boulevard, which is huge. So again, as you mentioned, give us hopefully a few decades of good.
A few decades. I'm talking a lifetime.
Hopefully more than that.
I pray. I pray.
That's right.
Yeah, Mayor's been, I know Indianapolis Boulevard's been on his mind for a while.
Yes.
And he wanted to do it right. So kudos to the mayor for that. And I'm glad that this project is finally kicking off. So you said they're beginning on Monday with the trees.
Tree removals, yep.
And then give me a little breakdown of when the next.
So the next few weeks will be tree removal. I believe they're going to be starting on the west side of of Indianapolis Boulevard, starting north, heading south. And then after they finish the tree removal on that side, they'll move over to the east side, which will probably take another approximate week or so. And then we're looking mid-November-ish to late November-ish for the actual start of the infrastructure project.
What happens to the trees, man?
Well, a good thing you asked. And again, with the widening project coming through afterwards, it's taken a lot of that space where the trees are currently sitting. However, just like in all of our projects, after the project is completed, we'll reach out to each and every resident and ask them what they like to have a tree replacement. Now, that tree replacement may not be in our easement like it was in the past, but we'll offer them a tree if they wanted to put it on their property, on their side.
Okay. So cherry blossoms all the way down, right?
That would be wonderful.
No, I know we put cherry blossoms along Columbus
Columbus
Drive.
sure did.
And it does look beautiful during that season. So, well, thank you very much, guys, for, explaining a little bit about this project. And, of course, if you're watching us now, this will be on Channel 21 and also on our Facebook page at ECTV. This is good news, and I thank you guys for joining us on the show. I do have some announcements to make. We have the holidays kicking off, and we have a bagless leaf program, trick-or-treat hours, and Veterans Day. First off, let's start off with our trick-or-treat hours. They will be Monday from 4 to 7 p.m. We ask everyone to participate safely. Keep your lights on. Keep your doors open if you are participating. And you guys stay safe out there. If you're driving along the area, we ask you to be mindful of kids. Children will be getting dropped off. I know I get hundreds of them dropped off on my corner. Why? My block is like the front of my house. That's the drop-off area in our neighborhood. So we get kids in droves, and I can't wait. I love Halloween. We've had an amazing trunk or treat that the mayor put on last week, and how many kids did we service? It was almost 1,000 kids, ain't it?
I believe so. At least 1,000 cars.
Yeah, it was it was a beautiful turnout. We had beautiful weather, not like last year where we were soaked in the rain.
Yes,
I mean, God looked out for us that day. Yeah, right. So 4 to 7 on Monday, that's our trick or treat hours. We do have a Veterans Day remembrance celebration. Mayor Copeland is asking all our veterans and anyone who wants to participate to come out on Thursday, November 10th at 11 a.m. at Veterans Park in the gazebo. That's near City Hall. That's at 4525 Indianapolis Boulevard. Everyone is welcome. We have a full program. We're trying to make this as nice as possible this year. And going forward, we've been looking for veterans. Any veteran that resides in the city of East Chicago, or anyone that has family of former veterans, you can also register on our website. We created a nice big button there and become part of our database so that we know who our veterans are in East Chicago, and we can send them out information about things that we have planned for veterans. And we want to do a good job for them. We do have some headstones that we will be dedicating on that day for some of the other wars. So it is going to be a beautiful ceremony, and we hope everyone can participate. And if you have any more questions about that, you can call our office at 219-391-8206, and I can give you more information. As the leaves are falling now and the trees are turning beautiful, Mayor Copeland and the Department of Public Works presents the annual bagless leaf collection program beginning on Halloween, October 31st, and it goes on through December 9th. The first district every Monday. The second district will be every Tuesday. Third district will be every Wednesday. Fourth district every Thursday. The fifth and sixth district will be on Fridays. Please have your leaves deposited at the curbside before 7 a.m. on the morning of your respective collection day. We have a couple tips posted on our website and on our Facebook page about what you can do to leave your leaves in proper, in the proper place or condition for us to pick them up. If they're not in those proper requirements, they may not get picked up. So please tune into our website. We also do have one of our funnest things happening, and that is our holiday toy drive. So Mayor Copeland, Parks Department, Police Department, and the Fire Department are also chipping in to make this holiday season possible. But we're going to begin with a tree lighting ceremony at the corner of Washington Park. That is right by Block Stadium, the new baseball field that this guy right here was all involved in that project, and it came out beautiful.
Thank you.
The reason we decided to move it to Washington Park this year is because the tree at City Hall has died. And it was an old tree, and they had to chop it down. So all the trees that were planted on the corner of Washington Park, they were small at one point, and they used to get decorated. But now they're giants. So the kids from the school can't reach up there to decorate them anymore. But it will make for a great lighting opportunity. I will tell you that. They're working on that now. So on Friday, December 2nd, join us for this tree lighting. And also, following the tree lighting, we're going to have the holiday toy giveaway. Now, this is at 1601 East 144th Street. You must register by November 18th, and the fun begins at 5 p.m. All you do is go to our website at eastchicago.com and click on the button to register your child for this toy drive. Children must be the ages of 0 to 14. How could someone be 0? That's an infant.
I mean, one.
At least
one day.
One day old.
One day.
I'm sorry about that. I find it funny because I'm expecting a grandchild like any day now, and I'm like, okay, you're 0 years old. But space is limited, so make sure you register. You must be an East Chicago resident with a valid ID. If you have more questions, you can call the Park Department at 219-391-8474. And if you want more information about all the things happening in East Chicago, make sure you jump on our Facebook page. All our stuff is posted on there, and make sure you share that information with your loved ones. Sometimes senior citizens don't get Facebook, and and they're not online, so make sure you convey some of these things to them, because sometimes, guess who mom and dad is? Grandma and grandpa. So they're the ones that get to take the children to these activities. We do have a senior Christmas party that's going to happen as well, and we're going to post that information on our, I'm not going to say everything right now, but there's a senior Christmas party coming, and just go online to eastchicago.com and register, and look on our Facebook page as well. You can get all your information there.
Steve, if you could mention Minixel.
I was just going to do that, man. You're good, man. So, just as he said, a lot of our notices for this project have been going out via Nixel. Now, if you don't know what Nixel is, it is an alert system that you get texts on your phone. So if you're watching now, get your phone out, and I want you to get your text message app open, and just text 888-777, and then in the body of the text message, just type in EC Events, and then you will be notified of everything that is happening in East Chicago.
Not only construction, though.
Not only construction, that's right. Everything happening in East Chicago. It could be a water main break. It could be a
Don't say that.
Christmas event. I know.
Don't say that.
In the winter, hey, just so you know, in the winter when it gets cold, we
Don't say
do
that.
get water main breaks. So just be careful. If you do see a water main break, make sure you report it to us. We do have a reporting app also. That's EC Works 311, where you can report issues and you will get notified if they have been acknowledged, and the progress of your report can be sent to you via your phone. You can submit pictures of whatever you report, and it's a great way to keep track of things that you report, and it helps us stay on top of issues that have been reported so that we know that our city departments have taken care of the issue for you. So we'd like to thank everyone for joining us on our WJOB radio show. So thank you, everyone. You guys have a great weekend.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you guys for coming.
Bye-bye, everyone.